The final, the old players want that, and we look forward for that. The players is very confident.
Well, the relationship between Sir Alex Ferguson and Arsene Wenger has become rather cordial over recent weeks. And we've been taking a rather keen interest between the mind games of Sir Alex Ferguson and Rafa Benitez. So to help us decipher even the banter that's going on between the two is Richard Cockell, a behavioural expert who joins us for a chat this morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir. So, I mean, I was talking to you very briefly during the ad break, and I was saying how it's all become very pally-pally between Wenger and Sir Alex.
Yes, indeed. Yeah.
Is this because, perhaps, that, well, Arsenal aren't necessarily the threat they once were?
That's right. They're not the threat they once were, purely because of the position of the table. The spat at the minute really is between, obviously, Rafa and Sir Alex. And one of the interesting things is that a person's body language is actually indicative of what's going on in their head. So what happened was, in January the 9th this year, Rafa actually turned around, and I'll quote the thing here, it says, I want to be clear, I do not want to play mind games too early, although they, Manchester United, seem to want to start. So, of course, when somebody says this, like to a person like Sir Alex, they'll say, oh, have some of that. And that's what they've done. And that's what's continued that particular cycle to date.
Don't you think this really is just the stuff of the playground? Because when you're at school, the bully picks on you, or, you know, there's always confrontation. You learn how to deal with it. I mean, should grown men be resorting to these sort of tactics?
It's all part of the game. With that particular instance, it's like two people actually starting out on a line in a race, and one person says, ready, steady, go. That's the normal way. What's happened is they've said, ready, steady, and one person's run off and left the other one behind, so it's playing catch-up. But you're right, yes, it's... these people are very successful people in their own right. They're both very, very driven men, and they want the best for their clubs. And it's those little bit of mind games that just gives that little bit of advantage to the other team.
Richard, these mind games have been going on for the last couple of years now, as well as making a great telly, loads of column inches, and got the fans sort of bickering and talking amongst themselves. Does it have an effect on the managers, on the players, and perhaps more importantly, on the results? Yes,
it does. Do you remember the famous sort of gesture that Benitez did at Blackburn the other day when he sort of did that? If you actually look at the video afterwards of the interview with Alex Ferguson, his whole body language, when he sat there, he was like this. And he was talking about it, and then he did something, he put his head down, he went straight into his emotions. He was quite upset by that. And then what he did, he sat back to make himself look bigger, and then I think he used the word arrogant just to describe what Benitez had done. And that's what happens. It's the body language of him which is indicative of what's going on in his mind. Now, if you take Rafa Benitez, when he actually is being interviewed in a post-match interview, what happens is, if he agrees with the person who was asking the question of him, you'll notice, I mean, trust me, look for yourself, he nods his head. He's actually telegraphing what he's actually going to say as a response to the actual question, which is absolutely fascinating. You know, Saturday night for me is brilliant. Not only watching football, but actually doing this as well. It's really quite amazing.
That's obviously quite a skill that you've got. Is it a skill anybody can adapt to, and can you read anybody?
I can read anybody. It's what we do at Saxton Partners, and it's one of the things that we do, because if you can help a person understand what's going on for them with the body language, you can move them on to a better place for a better performance, whether it be a sporting performance or whether it be a managerial performance. It's the same mindset. You just change that mindset and the way that person goes.
OK, just going to chuck a name out to you now off the top of my head.
Yeah.
Could you help Byron get to a better place?
Funnily enough, you should mention that.
Really? You've been taking notes?
Yes.
Oh, you haven't? Have you?
Not that you know it, Byron, but anyway, what I was going to say, you're a person who's what we call visually preferenced,
right.
Which means that you can actually have a picture in your mind, but without closing your eyes. You can put a picture in front of you. You talk a lot about... You have a lot of internal dialogue, which means you're talking inside your head.
Amen, brother.
Yeah, a lot of voices in his head.
A lot of voices in his head, but he's running the movie as what he's going to say next, because to you, as a wonderful individual that you are, your performance is everything, and that's your yardstick. There's clearly lots of adrenaline running around in your body, which is there to help you maintain your performance. And some people, I'm not saying you, but some people who run these sort of patterns, if you like, could have a little bit of a short fuse. But I don't know that for sure, and I've not been primed
What are
on
you laughing at? Eh? He's way off the mark there.
Well, there
way
you
off
go.
the mark.
He's pretty good.
How good am I, or what?
Richard, as much as I love talking about me, let's just kind of focus on perhaps a couple of the players as well.
Yeah.
Mainly because if we take, for example, Ryan Giggs,
Yeah.
one of the greatest English footballers we never had.
Yes, we got
and
out of
also
that well.
greatest United players ever to grace the pitch. Played top-flight football for an incredible amount of time,
Yes.
measured in his interviews, measured on the pitch. Then Wayne Rooney, one of the most exciting strikers ever to play at the Theatre of Dreams, aggressive. You know, he's so almost belligerent at times when he's up against. How does Sir Alex be able to manage those two very different personalities?
What he does, Sir Alex is an achiever in life. He is building a team, has built a team, and is thinking further forward for the future generations, because the whole ethos of that club is to win. And what he does is he instills in those actual players win, win, win. He isn't going to build a team to come second or to gain a runners-up medal. And what he does with Ryan Giggs and Wayne Rooney, it's all in that language that he uses to them. When he writes his programmes, for example, he wrote one for the home match against Portsmouth. I have selected this team, I have done this, I have done that. So he's quite an imposing presence. And he imposes that presence on the players because they know they've got to perform. And at the end of the day, performance is everything.
Well, I think that's a perfect note to end on, actually, Richard. We've run out of time, unfortunately. And talking of imposing presences, any chance you can write some notes up on this one? Actually, give him a good rundown, some points to improve on.
Impossible.
Right? Thanks.
No problem.
Lovely to meet you, sir. Thanks for joining us. Well, coming next, Nikki and Michelle.